Hi there. I figured I'd give a quick update here based on the incredible game I just saw. It was absolutely insane to watch our U20s of the USA take on the Hungarian 20s and reigning world champions. And, you go down this list, this roster of this Hungarian team, and you've got Varga and Naj and Benedict and Toth. Like all of these guys are, sons or close relations of the legends, the absolute legends of the sport from those Hungarian teams in the early 2000s. These guys are a really special group with, they exhibit tactical brilliance on a regular basis. They're extremely long defenders. They're backed by excellent goalkeeping. They play defense on a string. They communicate well together. When they get in aggressor mode on the offensive end, they are absolutely just a pleasure to watch. I mean, that fourth quarter between Dodd and Varga going back and forth, who was going to ultimately grab control of the game. There was many opportunities there where the the Hungarian side was just about to break through, and the goalie play by the USA and excellent defense in front of it just kept saying no. Um, Charles Mills has put on a heck of a couple of games in goal for USA, coming in the penalty shootout and getting a big stop. And these Hungarian shooters, they throw lightning bolts, and he's deflecting them. And there was a couple of times there where he swung the momentum of the game because you think, okay, this is a likely goal from one of these shooters, and stuff. So I can't speak highly enough of how Mills played in that game. Stellar performance. Showed great poise. He was never in a rush to get rid of the ball when it was a 50-50 situation. He just found the open water, got it to a teammate, or moved it out himself. Really held down the fort on the defensive end of the pool for the United States. That was awesome to see. Another couple of standouts for the USA squad, Snyder and Castillo, were absolute beasts. Um, if you look at the final ejection ratio, I think the Hungarians will be a little upset with that. I think it was 19-10. You generally get about 44 possessions ish in a game. This game probably had a few more just because both these teams are so freaking fast. But you know, getting that sort of ejection ratio on the Hungarian team by the United States centers and some of the post up players, like he was in there also putting his nose into danger. Great inside out game, but Schneider and Castillo really held down the fort on the offensive end, and were drawing kickouts when the ball wasn't even in a dangerous position. That's the sign of a guy who's really pinning you down at the 2 meter position and not allowing you to get back into the passing lane. So phenomenal performance by both of those centers. They were finding their openings on the posts, trying to finish hard all the time, generally playing pretty good drive defense. That's the makings of a really tough squad to beat when you got your centers pinning down at the 2 meter line. Um, all of the offensive players on the perimeter now have that free opportunity to make a couple of passes and shoot off a cross pass. And Bodie Brinkema had a absolutely massive catch shoot goal that put us up there. And then what can we say that hasn't already been said about Ryder Dodd? Um, we're running out of adjectives at this point. The guy is a wizard. The play to seal the game where he reverse turns and gets a kick out. Every single thing that this young man is doing is phenomenal. He's chest out of the water, protecting the ball, never getting knocked off balance, holding his spot. Absolutely super strong legs, pinning the ball every single place he shoots. It's like I said, we're running out of adjectives to describe him. Wes Kading, the announcer, described him as Ryder Dodd the Myth. And, I've played against and with Tony Azevedo for a long period throughout my life, and growing up around Tony is what we're seeing here again with Ryder Dodd. But I mean, goodness, Ryder is taking down Serbia yesterday and then Hungary today. Bronze medal already in the backpack as a under 20. Um, and he's already got a natty and a Catino. He's on a very very so we say rarely walked path in United States water polo. Um, our defense overall, we allowed 16 goals against Hungary, but I think that allowing 16 goals to a team like that is actually a pretty tall feat. And beyond that, we only gave up 10 exclusions. So we weren't playing man down for an extended period of time the way that the Hungarians were. And, they were into foul trouble. A lot of guys were playing with two. That just makes you a little bit less willing to gamble on the defensive end, and you just can't be quite as aggressive, and that really played to our favor down at the end. The Hungarian team was missing Toth, and lots of their players had at least two, which is a big difference maker for us. And then beyond that, I think Coker's done an absolutely phenomenal job with these guys. Uh, we've seen this team stateside play quite a bit of water polo together. And what's beautiful about that is we get to see what they look like against the best in the United States when folks are around. And so we went through all of this National League stuff, and it culminated with them in the what was the Fisher Cup, now the U.S. Open Championships, and you know getting through a NIAC or an O Club or an LA Athletic Club when you're an under 20, typically those teams are buzzsaws for folks that are stateside. It's typically going to be one of those three club teams that's comprised of former national team players or former Olympians, and those guys are typically around 25 to 35 years old, and that experience, that 5 years, 10 years of difference against a U20 team typically makes a pretty big difference. You have time to get stronger, you have time to get faster, you have time to understand the game better. But this junior squad, I compare it to John Jones's fighting technique. The way that John Jones, the greatest MMA fighter, was ever described, or what he would describe his fighting style as, is I'm a look-see-do fighter. I look at what's occurring, I see what's happening, I assess the situation, and I go do it. And that's kind of the style that the NIACs, Olympic clubs, and LAACs play. But this United States U20 team also plays. They're very much in a oh, my teammate is in that situation, I'm going to react and create X dilemma, or react and create Y dilemma. It's a very fluid, very very read the situation and react and adapt type of playing style, and it's really suiting us very very well. So I can't speak highly enough about how the team is performing. Again, how it's been led under Coker and Arod's leadership, and Felix's over at Brown's leadership. Um, Fantastic, guys. Go get Spain. You just beat a team that has extreme length and extreme speed and extreme firepower. Now you've got to play a team that presses super well, comes into a deep drop, and plays a great brand of team ball of their own. Um, they're going to be physical also. But that being said, like, Hungary is a really freaking tough game. But you get high highs and low lows. The team that just knows what path they're on and has Ryder Dodd on their team, that's a pretty good bet. Take care, all. Bye bye then.